Excuse me.
You know, to be honest, I feel quite restrained. I'm aware of the laws of contempt and so on. I practiced journalism, as I said earlier, for some time to understand the laws of contempt and so on. So, we are all being very guarded in the commentary on this matter. There are many things that I would have liked to say, and I feel constrained, by the law and so on. But Randy, look, if this were the first and only case or any allegation against the Attorney General, maybe we can let it lie. This is not the first. There have been many other allegations against the Attorney General, this same Attorney General. One case, Martin Kpebu, who is a reputable legal practitioner, has actually publicly alleged that the Attorney General told him that in the kitchen knife coup case, you remember, that he only added the name of Dr. Agozu of the police service because he wanted the matter to look weighty. And Martin Kpebu says that they are witnesses and so on. Now, that is even more serious than this, what is revealed by this state. Just catch somebody that you know is innocent, add him to the list of accused persons, try him for several years, destroy his family and everything, simply because you want to make your case look weighty. How callous can you be? I mean, what disrespect to the law? Is Martin Kpebu lying? Shouldn't we be investigating the allegations made by Martin Kpebu?
No, but I disagree. I mean, people can make allegations.
So Martin Kpebu is lying?
I don't know.
So let us go through the processes.
But the point is that to bring that up on this platform as a basis for questioning the integrity of the AG, for me,
at least this is the second time.
But what my point, my point is that Martin Kpebu has made an allegation.
Yes.
And that
if we accept these and these become our traditions and so on, who can expect and receive justice in Ghana? That is my problem.
But you see, the principle
who
is
can
that,
expect and receive justice in Ghana if these are our standards?
Kwesi, the person that you're mentioning that actually is saying that made that allegation in the public domain, allegations have been made against him as well.
No problem.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
no problem.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Allegations have been made against Martin Kpebu.
Of course, there are lots of that. There are lots of
no problem.
allegations that have been made against him.
I'm not saying that
and
Martin
sometimes,
Kpebu.
you see, and sometimes for me, I mean, maybe I'm not playing naive here, but sometimes the motivation that comes from some of these commentary is problematic for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I even stated that we are not discussing Martin Kpebu, but even when issues of a certain, if you like, nature comes up and is being discussed, depending on who is in office, it is okay. When it is being done as against another individual, it is persecution. You understand what I'm saying? So I've heard people, crying over everything. People should be persecuted. This is corruption. This is that. This is that. This is that. And yet, when that same thing is being done, then they question the rationale behind that particular thing that's being done because, as far as they're concerned, it's affecting somebody that is close to them, or it's affecting a political position or an expedient position that they have taken, or even a parochial interest. And if we cannot have a conversation in this country where we always claim that, let's put the national interest first, right? Yet all these considerations are masked with personal parochial interest. So, for example, I saw the minority do a press conference saying that they're going to investigate, or some monies have been paid to a contractor here or there. These are legitimate things that you should ask for. You know what I'm saying? Yet, in the same vein, we have so many examples, the likes of the STX and all of those things that has happened over a period. And Parliament, I'm using Parliament as an institution, has never come back and said that these are the things that we are going to put in place to make sure that if the country Ghana goes into some kind of arrangement or a contract with an entity, either local or foreign, these are the set of things that needs to be done to ensure that the country does not become disadvantaged if it doesn't go through or not. Because I can pick 400, 500 of these things.
I'm struggling to understand.
No, I'm just saying that. You see,
but that's okay.
No, I'm just saying that you have a situation where, depending on who is in opposition, right, certain things seem to be okay. Now, when they're in government, the same things that are being done are things that are acts of persecution. For example, there's Osei Rekubro Bay, even Asabi and Co. We're taken through a prosecution process by the NDC administration, and they were acquitted.
Eric,
right now,
Eric,
all of a sudden, you have an Atufosu being taken through a court process, and then that is persecution.
No.
Right? Asabi was stopped at the airport, was prevented from even traveling.
Eric.
No, and that's what I'm saying. That is the basis for my argument. Is that
please?
No, Kwesi, let me learn.
No, I should be learning.
Yeah, okay.
You interjected.
All right.
So
right.
I should be learning, not you.
Okay, I'll see to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. Thanks a lot. You haven't heard me this morning say that NDC persons should not be prosecuted if they commit offense. I haven't said so. You haven't even heard me this morning calling for the prosecution of the Attorney General. I haven't said so. I'm saying that so far, serious matters have been revealed, which, if not properly investigated and authenticated, would undermine public confidence in the system of prosecution and adjudication of justice. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you.
Now, I'm saying also, you can attack the integrity of Martin Kpebu, you can do whatever you want. The fact is that Martin Kpebu is a senior practicing lawyer who has publicly stated that an innocent person was charged with an offense at the time that the AG knew that he was innocent, only to make his case look weighty. He has claimed that he has witnesses, and so that also goes to undermine, you understand, the system of prosecution and so on. So I'm saying that these matters need to be investigated. We need to establish the empirical basis for our reaction to all of this. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You understand? Now, I am worried, deeply worried. The Attorney General in our circumstances also happens to be the Minister of Justice. So it is not just his duty to prosecute, it's also his duty to ensure that all citizens of Ghana, MPP, CPP, PNC, whatever, can get justice. It's his duty to ensure that. Now, the person who is supposed to be ensuring that all of us have justice, listen to him on the tape.
So, Kwesi, just to interrupt you for a couple of minutes, and I'll entreat everybody to go read this opinion on page 17 of the Daily Graphic. It's a view expressed by Dr. John Osai Kwapon. He is a project director, the Democracy Project. Okay. And it's a little lengthy, but I think that is quite thought-provoking on this particular issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, it says the minority leader in Parliament, Dr. Kesel Atufosin, is charged with causing financial loss to the state and is currently standing criminal trial together with a businessman. This is no laughing matter because the consequences of being found guilty means the deprivation of their daily life and liberty routines. Given the stakes, such trials must be devoid of any actions or inactions that potentially raise doubts about the integrity of the process. I was reminded by a lawyer in discussing the allegations that, quote, it is a fundamental principle that justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. It is therefore extremely worrying, as reported, that during trial and under cross-examination, the third accused person in the case, made the following statement. Quote, the AG has on several occasions engaged me at odd hours to help him make a case against A1, and I have evidence for that. If he pushes me, I will open the Pandora's box. I don't understand why the AG will accuse me of defending A1 when I'm here to defend myself. End of quote. Now, the statement has been interpreted to mean that the Attorney General has engaged in conduct designed to pervert the course of justice. This is a serious allegation. The Attorney General, and rightly so, has denied these allegations. I am willing to give the Attorney General the benefit of the doubt and trust the better angels in him. It, however, does not mean that there are no worrying points about these allegations. First, these allegations potentially taint the case. The accused persons are standing trial for having caused financial loss to the state. This is a law designed to fight corruption in government. Public officials in the course of duty must not engage in acts of corruption and harm the state. Therefore, if there are facts to suggest that a public officer has acted in contravention of the law, it is only proper to hold them accountable. But the integrity of the process is just as important, if not more, than the eventual outcome of the accountability process. Nothing about the process should give the slightest impression that something untoward happened along the way because of the desire for a particular outcome. Second, it reinforces the perception that such trials are politically motivated, even when they may not be. Any keen observer of our Fourth Republic will agree that the tendency is for current governments to hold accountable officials of previous governments and on matters of corruption. Essentially, post-regime accountability after change of government is more common than in-regime accountability. The usual response from political actors is that these trials are witch-hunting exercises. It may well be that accused persons are rightly being tried for having caused financial loss to the state. However, in the face of such allegations, citizens may end up questioning the state's motivation. Third, such allegations have implications for the confidence citizens have in public institutions and the judicial process. It is precisely because of this reason that I was quite worried at the posture of the spokesperson for the Attorney General's office in a media appearance on Joy News, The Probe. I understand the need to debunk the allegations, but it cannot be done with a posture that appears to be saying, this is really no big deal. The initial press statement released by the Attorney General's office, in my opinion, was sufficient for the... In my humble opinion, we tend to be too nonchalant and don't really care much about passing the appearance test. Public confidence in our institutions is currently too low to have it deteriorate any further. It's unclear at this point what will become of these allegations. Perhaps the various worrying points expressed here and by others are important enough to warrant a thorough examination to make sure that nothing erodes the confidence citizens have in this trial, but more importantly, in our justice system. And this is a piece by Dr. John Osai Kwapon, who's a project director, Democracy Project. Kwesi. So I just thought that there were some interesting perspectives in this.
I read this morning, even before I listened to the tape and read all the other reports. This was the very first thing that I read, And to a very large extent, I'm in agreement with the opinion which was expressed. I mean, this is a matter which raises substantial concerns about our governance system, and we cannot allow it to just die and go away, And this potentially can affect every citizen of this country. If we do not come to some agreement about what it means and how to ensure that it does not in any way harm the governance system, at least as far as state prosecution goes, and so on. Now, the point I was making earlier is about the additional responsibility of the Attorney General as Minister of Justice. So the Attorney General, is not his duty just to secure prosecution, just to secure convictions from the court. It is his duty also to ensure that every person he puts before court gets justice. Okay. Now, if you are arrested by the police and the police are taking your caution statement, which is usually presented in court, the police is duty bound to remind you of your rights, especially your right to counsel. And if the police fails to remind you of your rights, that statement has no value. You understand that? That's normal practice, even at the level of the police, at the police station. Okay. So how come that a day before the appearance of an accused person in court, the Attorney General engages him in a phone conversation about the substance of the charges leveled against him, without a reminder of his rights to legal counsel and so on, and in the absence of his lawyer. That alone is a big matter. That alone is a big matter. You understand? And look, we have all heard it said. We have all heard rumors and so on. This is the first time we are getting close to what appears to be evidence that some of these cases are determined in private houses. It's so shocking that on the face of it, you can appear to be facing normal prosecution and so on, but uncles, cousins, and nephews and so on can sometimes meet somewhere and do things which would affect judicial outcomes. The innocent judge is sitting in court. The innocent judge has not gone to any Supreme Court judge's house. The innocent judge might not even know about these conversations and so on. So this innocent judge sitting in court, she's sitting there innocent. And then they bring a medical report indicating that Jakpa is sick and cannot be in court. How is she to know that this is part of manipulation? Innocent judge. She knows the law. She wants to apply the law. She wants to do justice to all people who appear before her. These things happening in dark corners, in private houses, in cars, on telephone, and so on. They will all eventually affect the judgment. And then we sit at home and then sometimes begin to blame the judiciary when perhaps sometimes the judiciary is not even at fault. Look, this is a major development, and I think we ought to treat it as such.